Hello, we're moving on to blood type. So we're going to talk about the inheritance of blood type, and there's two assessment statements here. This first one I want to go through just real quick. So 3.44 says, state that some genes have more than two alleles. So if you remember, we've been just talking about two alleles, right? Okay, come on, pen. So we said, oh, we could have the allele that makes a plant tall, or we could have the allele that makes a plant short. Or maybe the color purple and the recessive form is white. That's supposed to be a small p. Not very good. So yeah, so you can have different alleles like those. We only so far just looked at two different alleles. So with blood type, you have three. So if you're looking here, there's a couple things that you may notice. One is that what's up with the letter I? Like, why did we put that there? I really don't know. So very important when you do notation for blood type, you put the letter I and then whatever allele that is. So you have the allele for blood type A, you have the allele for blood type B, and the third allele is just either a little I, or sometimes I've seen it down like here, where you have the I plus the little I. I normally just write the little I. But those are the different notations for the alleles. So 1, 2, 3 different alleles. And those combinations we're going to talk about in a second. The other thing that you might notice is that we can have a combination of an A and a B that results in a blood type that is both A and B. And that is something called codominance. So we're going to talk about that as well. But just simply said, more than two alleles, example of blood type, it has three different alleles that you can have in those chromosomes. And just to review, right, these are on the chromosome. So it's possible to have the allele A, and maybe that your mother gave you the allele I, and A and I would result in the phenotype A. Let's practice. So 3.45 says describe ABO blood types and how it's inherited, and also how it's an example of codominance. So if you look at this picture on the bottom right here, you can see that we have the blood type here, blood type A, and it has these green little spikes on it. Not accurate. There's not these green spikes. Excuse me. But that represents the protein A, or sometimes they call it A antigen. These little blue ones for blood type B has the blue antigens. Blood type AB has both of them, the little green ones and the blue ones on there. And then blood type O, there's no proteins. So that's what the A's and the B's and the O's mean. So let's do an example of a Punnett square, just to show how the inheritance works, and also that we're using the correct notation. So let's say that the mother is heterozygous for blood type B. So if she's heterozygous for blood type B, she would have a big B, and then the other allele would be the I, would be the O. So that's what heterozygous is. So for blood type B, the phenotype, the different types of genotypes you can have is a BB, or you could have the B and the I. So both of those result in blood type B, homozygous dominant, and here's the heterozygous form. And let's do the same thing with the father. He's heterozygous. Let's make him heterozygous for blood type A, so it would look something like that. And then we cross them. I didn't make the boxes big. I'll just try. So this cross would result in this genotype, A, wish I made it a little bit bigger, B. That's our example of codominance, because that can exist. They're both expressed, as we saw down here. And then a B and an I, that's the genotype. The phenotype would be blood type B. Down here, we have blood type A allele with the I, which is 0. That would be expressed as the blood type A. And then last, if those two gametes met, we would have an I and an I, and then that child would have the blood type O. So in this situation, all four blood types are